A wedding meant to unite two hearts turns into chaos when a shocking secret is revealed at the altar. Before we begin, please subscribe to my channel, like and leave a comment. Your support means a lot to me. Thanks. Daniel wasn't born with wealth. In fact, his childhood was filled with tears, hunger, and uncertainty. When Daniel was just 7 years old, tragedy struck. His parents were killed in a road accident, leaving behind nothing but debts and a broken family. Most relatives turned their backs, whispering, "They won't survive. They're finished." But Cassandra, Daniel's only sister, just 15 at the time, refused to give up. She was still a child herself, but she became both mother and father to him. She worked day and night. By day, she hawked bread on the roadside. By night, she washed clothes for neighbors to earn a few coins. She sacrificed her own schooling so Daniel could continue his education. Many times, she went hungry just so Daniel could eat. When other children wore new uniforms, Daniel's came from second-hand markets, carefully patched by Cassandra's tired hands. Years later, Cassandra started a small trade selling provisions. Every little profit went into Daniel's books, school fees, and exam forms. "Daniel," she would always say, "one day you will be great. Don't forget that your sister paved the way for you." Daniel's life had always been tied to one person, his only sister, Cassandra. From the very first day he could remember his childhood struggles, her face was always there. Tired, determined, yet filled with a kind of love that words could hardly capture. When their parents died in a tragic accident, Cassandra was barely a teenager herself, yet she picked up the broken pieces of their lives and became both mother and sister to Daniel. She was the one who shielded him when relatives mocked them. She was the one who gave up school so Daniel could attend. She worked endless shifts at a bakery, selling bread in the mornings and sewing clothes at night just to put food on the table. To Daniel, Cassandra was not just blood. She was the reason he was alive, the reason he could dream, the reason he became a man who knew the value of love, sacrifice, and loyalty. Every time Daniel thought of her, his chest swelled with pride and gratitude. He often told people, "If you see me shine, know that Cassandra was the lamp that lit my path." As children, Daniel remembered nights when he would cry himself to sleep, hungry and cold, but Cassandra would stroke his head and whisper, "Don't worry, my brother. One day you'll be great, and I'll sit beside you smiling." She carried him on her back when his feet were too sore from walking barefoot to school. She fought bullies on his behalf, even when they were bigger than her. She shielded him from insults when extended family called him a burden. When Daniel finally graduated from university, something Cassandra never had the chance to do, he cried on the convocation ground. Holding her hands tightly, "This certificate is not mine alone," he said. "It belongs to us. You gave me your life so I could live mine." Cassandra only smiled, her eyes wet with tears. "Just promise me you'll never forget me when you get to the top," she whispered. That promise, Daniel carved into his heart. Years later, Daniel's sharp business mind and relentless determination made him a rising star in the corporate world. But he never walked alone. Cassandra was always beside him. When he started his first small company, it was Cassandra who stayed up late with him, helping draft proposals, typing letters, and packaging products for delivery. When investors mocked him, Cassandra encouraged him. When deals failed, she reminded him, even failure is part of the journey. When he finally hit gold, securing a life-changing business deal, he didn't celebrate alone. He lifted Cassandra into his arms and told her, "This is our victory." As his wealth grew, so did her role. Daniel refused to treat Cassandra as just a sister. He made her co-owner of his company. He insisted that her name be on every major document. He introduced her in meetings as my partner, my backbone, my most trusted advisor. Soon, Cassandra was not just a supportive sister, she was a billionaire in her own right. She drove the cars Daniel bought her, lived in a mansion he built for her, and carried the aura of a woman who had conquered life through sacrifice and patience. When Daniel met Melissa, she was swept off her feet by his charm, wealth, and generosity. He was every woman's dream, a billionaire with a golden heart. But what Melissa didn't expect was that his sister, Cassandra, was the axis around which his entire world rotated. At first, Melissa tried to understand. She smiled politely whenever Daniel spoke about Cassandra. She noticed how his eyes softened whenever he mentioned Cassandra. She noticed how he never made a major decision without calling Cassandra first. Even on their dates, Daniel would casually bring up Cassandra's name. Cassandra thinks I should expand into real estate. Or, Cassandra says I need to rest more. Each time, Melissa would smile, but in her heart, she would clench her fists. Why must her name always come up? Why does she have such control over him? Melissa's jealousy grew quietly, like a seed watered daily. She began to compare herself with Cassandra in her mind. She would ask herself bitter questions. Why does he consult Cassandra before me? Why is she co-owner of his empire while I, his fiancé, am just an observer? Yet Melissa never voiced these feelings. She buried them under forced smiles, waiting for the day she could finally separate Daniel from Cassandra. Daniel's love for Cassandra was not something he ever felt he had to explain. To him, it was obvious. She was the one who raised him, who made him who he was. In his mind, no woman, wife or not, could ever replace Cassandra's position in his life. One evening, a week before the wedding, Daniel and Melissa had dinner together. As usual, Daniel brought up Cassandra's name. Cassandra thinks we should consider building a charity wing for children, Daniel said, smiling as he scrolled through his phone. She says it's a way to give back to the community that raised us. I think she's right. What do you think? Melissa froze. That was the fourth time Cassandra's name had come up in one dinner. She dropped her fork noisily and said, Daniel, do you ever realize how much you talk about your sister? It's like I'm competing with her for your attention. Daniel frowned, shocked. Competing? Melissa, Cassandra is my sister, my life. There is no competition. You're my wife-to-be, and she's my backbone. Both of you are important to me. Their wedding was planned to be the grandest of the year. Guests flew in from different cities. The hall was decorated with gold and roses. Everything was set for a fairy tale ending. But not all that glitters is gold. Hours before the wedding, Melissa walked into the reception hall. That was when she saw something that turned her heart cold. Her groom, Daniel, hugging a pregnant woman. She froze. Anger rose in her chest. That's it, she hissed. I knew he was hiding something. He's been cheating on me all along. That woman was Cassandra, Daniel's sister. Melissa had never accepted her presence, never understood their bond. In her eyes, Cassandra was competition. Melissa didn't ask questions. She didn't seek the truth. Instead, she called her bridesmaids and her brother, Kelvin. She's his mistress, Melissa spat. She must be exposed today. How dare he embarrass me on our wedding day? And so, right before hundreds of guests, Melissa dragged Cassandra into the center of the hall. This woman is pregnant for Daniel. Melissa screamed. Look at her, everyone. She's been hiding in the shadows. Today, I will expose her. The hall erupted with whispers and gasps. Cassandra, already weak from her pregnancy, tried to speak. No, Melissa, you're wrong. I'm his. But before she could finish, Melissa's brother Kelvin pushed her violently. Cassandra fell to the ground, clutching her stomach. A cry of pain escaped her lips. Guests gasped in horror. Blood began to stain her gown. Cassandra had just lost her baby. At that exact moment, Daniel walked in. His eyes widened as he saw his beloved sister lying on the floor. He rushed to her side, lifting her gently. "Cassandra, what happened? Who did this to you?" Melissa stammered. "Daniel, she's your mistress. She's pregnant with your child." Daniel froze, then looked up slowly, his face hard as stone. "Melissa," he said in a voice so cold it silenced the hall. "This is my sister, my only family, the woman who raised me when I had no one. The woman who sacrificed her life for mine." Melissa's face turned pale. The hall fell silent. Daniel continued, his voice breaking, "And today, you pushed her, causing her to lose her child. On our wedding day." As nurses rushed Cassandra out, Daniel noticed something else. A necklace lay shattered on the floor. It wasn't ordinary jewelry. It was the heart of sapphire, an heirloom worth millions. A necklace Cassandra always wore because it was their late mother's. Melissa had smashed it in her rage. Daniel turned to her. "You owe her more than you can ever pay." He signaled his lawyer. Documents were brought forward. The marriage contract was cancelled on the spot. Gasps filled the air. Guests began to murmur. The fairy tale wedding was crumbling. Panicking, Melissa screamed, "Wait! You can't leave me. I'm pregnant with your child, Daniel." Another shockwave hit the guests. Could it be true? Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Then let's test it." Within minutes, a quick medical check was done. The results came in. The child wasn't Daniel's. It was Kelvin's, Melissa's own brother. The hall fell into chaos. Some screamed, some fainted, others whispered, "This is abomination." Melissa broke down, crying. Kelvin tried to escape, but the police had already been called. Daniel removed his wedding ring and placed it firmly on the table. "Melissa," he said, his voice steady, "I gave you my trust, and you gave me betrayal. This wedding is over. Our marriage has ended before it even began." Melissa dropped to her knees, begging for forgiveness, but Daniel walked away without looking back. The wedding had ended. Not with vows, not with kisses, but with a divorce on the wedding day. So tell me, dear viewer, was Daniel right to cancel the wedding on the spot? Or should he have forgiven Melissa for her mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unbelievable stories. The end. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Your time means the world to me, and I don't take it for granted. Every view, every like, every comment, they encourage me more than you can imagine. I pray that as you support me, God will support you too. May favor find you, may joy never depart from your life, and may all your dreams come true. Bye bye.